What's up, ghouls? It's Betty Jade, and it's officially spooky season, so I'm in the right mood to make some really spooky stuff. Anyways, I've had this empty bird cage for quite some time now. I think my mom gave it to me, probably thrifting somewhere, and I think actually it's like a candle holder. It's got like a candle holder thing here, but I think it looks more like a bat cage. Since I can't have an actual pet bat, I think this would be perfect to put a slumbering hanging bat in. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna make just a cute little baddie to go in here. So let's get started right away, shall we? Okay, so first I've got this piece of a wooden dowel that was left over, I think from my man-eating plant project, but I'm gonna use it to make the perch for my bat. And I'm just taking this hacksaw that I got, and I'm just cutting it to a size that's just right, that'll fit inside. And I didn't hold it very well at first. I really should invest in just a clamp for the table as much as I cut stuff and do stuff. I tried just sawing it sitting down, but then I stood up and it worked a little better. It did get kind of wonky. On the end, it didn't cut very straight. I did do a little cut at the end to straighten it out. Okay, so now I got this armature wire from Michael's and just some Reynolds Wrap tinfoil to make the armature. And I probably could have got the thinner armature wire after getting it and seeing how thick it was and then actually using it. I think it was a little too thick, if not needlessly thick. So definitely I think some thinner stuff is just fine. They had like the thicker stuff, which I bought, or like a thinner kind at Michael's. So I don't think you need to get this super fat stuff that I got. And basically I'm just making like a skeletal form of the bat shape. So I just made like its feet, kind of a body outline, a head outline, and its wings. And then I just kind of shaped it out with the tin foil. It wasn't hard to do except the wings. It was a little frustrating because I couldn't get the wire to bend like tightly to where it would stay in the spot I wanted it to. So like the spot where the wings should stay, it wouldn't grip on, so it kept like slipping down. That was the only thing that aggravated me. Other than that, it wasn't too difficult to do. So I'm using Super Sculpey medium clay, and I've just rolled it out in a nice big thin layer after I've conditioned it with some petroleum jelly. And all I'm really doing is like coating the armature and just a pretty thin layer of it. I'm basically just putting skin on it. You can think of like the wire as bones and the tinfoil as muscle. And so now I'm just putting on a layer of skin before I start molding out any finer details. And now that he's all covered, I'm just starting to mold all the little folds onto the wings, which was a little difficult and just mostly grueling and time consuming, especially because I lost all my clay tools and I had to do this all basically with a weirdly shaped needle I just bought. So that's basically how I did absolutely everything. And so basically I just rolled out more clay really thinly and cut it out into strips and folded it, and then just attached it with that needle tool by pressing it in very gingerly. Okay, so now I'm just shaping the head, and I'm just basically adding a little clay on to the cheeks where I need them rounded out a little bit more, and the chin so it's jutting out a little bit more where the mouth should be and stuff like that. And then I'm just adding on a little heart-shaped nose, and I'm etching on any details and nose holes that it needs. And then I'm just going to be adding on eyes next. Okay, so now for the eyeball, I've got these little carnelian beads that I'm using, and I thought they'd be really nice because they're this nice red deep red color. And I just had them because I also make like jewelry and stuff, so I already had them on hand, and I just got them out and I stuck them into the clay. I did have to be careful because they do have 2 holes because they're beads, so I just made sure that those were embedded into the clay with kind of the line going through facing the same way, kind of diagonally, because you could kind of see it a little bit. It made like kind of a glaring line, so if one was going up and down and the other one was going like diagonally, it did look a little wonky. And then after I did that, I rolled out some really tiny little snakes out of clay and wrapped it around the bead to make kind of like little eyelids, and pinched it off at the corner of the eyes to make like cute little eyelashes. I just thought it was not a super realistic, but just a more cuter touch to add, and I liked it. So to finish her up, I just finally shaped the ears and put them on. I did a little detailing, making the ear lines inside with the needle tool. And then after that, I just attached them, and then I just started doing all the detail fur work with the same needle tool, which took me a good long while, but not like hours and hours, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, so once I finished the body of the bat, I decided they needed a cute little outfit, so I made them like a little cape, and then I made them like a weird little like nun, whatever you call it, a habit or a shawl or whatever, just some little draperies for around their neck that I thought were super cute. So I just rolled out some more flat clay and cut it out with a knife and draped it and pressed it around their neck and made them a couple of little buttons, and made their neck piece a little bit lacy and used my needle to poke little lacy holes all in it and give it some little details. Oh, and I gave him some cute little socks as well. Okay, so now it's like a day or so later, and I've baked my bat in the oven for like about 15 minutes, I think. And I decided I want my bat to be a cute little albino, kind of like Bartok from Anastasia. And so I'm gonna be painting them white. and which means they're also gonna have like cute little pink ears inside, and also like their little like fleshy arm bits and lines are also going to be pink, because if you look up albino bats on the internet, that's kind of what they look like, and also a pink little nose. So that's what I'm going for. And then their little cape outfit is going to be black, mostly to match me, but also because that's what their outfits look like, and just for contrast against all the whiteness that is going to be the super cute little red-eyed albino bat. Okay, so now I've got the perch that the bat's gonna sit on, but I need to make 2 holes on either side of it so I can put wire through it and string it up at the top. So I just kind of clamp it onto the table and hold it down really firmly and just take a drill bit that was about the right size and just push it in. And it worked really well, and I was really scared, but it was just fine. And then I just had some spare wire. I think I originally got it for jewelry, but it was too thick, and I just put it through the hole, and I just made like an eyelet kind of pin loop. So I basically just looped it around my tool back into the dowel rod, and just twisted it a teeny bit. I really didn't do much, and it was secured, and I just put it up to the top of the cage and measured how much of the wire I would need to get it to the top ring of the cage. And then I just took my wire clippers and cut the wire, and then did the same on the other side, and just measured my same wire so they were the same length, and clipped it again. Okay, so after I finished painting, I felt like it just needed a little bit more. So I made him a couple of little cross buttons for the side of his cape and shawl. And then I also made him a little dagger and 2 little blood vials to put on his little garter belts that I made him for his socks as well. And I tried super glue for a couple of them, and then I didn't really like working with it so much. And then I tried hot glue, and it also wasn't the best because I had to be very, very careful because it was so very small. And the first time I tried using it with the little blood vial, it dried before I could even get it on there because it was such a small amount. So I had to like get it on there super quick and then push it on. But it was a little bit easier than using the super glue like I did with the buttons and the knife. Okay, then I tried to glue the bat onto its perch, and it didn't really work the first time I tried it. I used some hot glue, and it didn't really stick, and the paint that was on both the feet of the bat and the rod itself really just ripped off. It didn't stick. You can see me pull it apart. So I switched back to the super glue, and I took the super glue and I used that on the feet, and I thought maybe it would just hold a little bit stronger. So I super glued the bottom of the feet to the rod after I pulled that and like all the paint off and I pulled the glue off that was stuck on the feet, and then I used more hot glue and I like glued it in between the parts of the feet that weren't quite touching all the way. So I ended up using like both glues, but after I did that, then it was like really securely on there and I felt confident that it wasn't going to fall off. And then we've got some varnish, and I'm not too fond of this stuff, but I figure it can't hurt to try to preserve it. So I just give it a quick spray and hope for the best. Okay, now they're finally ready to go in the cage, and I had to bend the wires in a little bit so the whole thing could fit inside. And it did make it a little difficult to get them actually up out where they needed to be for me to twist them on top on the loop, but I made it work and I didn't break anything and I didn't hurt them, so it's fine. It was just a little tricky maneuvering the whole thing and then getting the wires back up through the right bars of the cage and then up through the loop and then just bending the wire back around. It was just a little bit tricky, but I made it work, and I I didn't measure the wires at all. I just kind of stuck them in there and half-heartedly measured it by eye, but somehow they turned out to be the exact right lengths they needed to be, and he hung in there at the exact perfect height. So I feel like everything worked out. On a cold night. On a cold night. Tonight. On a cold night. On a cold night. Tonight. You hungry? Okay. Hi, welcome to the end of the video. If you've gotten this far, maybe consider giving a like and subscribe. It makes my day if you've liked it, so just consider. And I really like my little bat. He's really, really cute. I love his tiny, weird little assassin nun cloak and his little blood vials and little dagger. I think they're really cute. And I think I'm gonna call him Valentine. 'Cause I don't know, it just kind of looks like a Valentine. It's got kind of Valentine colors. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna call it. And, not really much to say about this project, except, still really not fond of the clay that I used. The Super Sculpey medium. It was like a little softer than the really cheap stuff I've used before. A little easier to like knead with some oil, But other than that, not super fantastic. And like, it was much more expensive. So there's that. I need to like experiment much more with all the different clays that are out there. I'm not sure what clays to use and for what. It's hard to find a clay that's like very easy to work with and also like very light. So gonna have to look into that a little bit more. And also not expensive as well. And this is my first time trying an armature as well. I'm so on it. It was obviously something I had to do because you can only work with this baked clay to so much thickness. But it put me a little off because I wanted to like manipulate the clay in much different ways, and I couldn't because I'm like, oh, I can't dig that out there because it's foil and wire underneath. I can't take that away. So that was a difficulty that I couldn't really work around exactly. That's my other big gripe. But other than that, I think it turned out really well. So it was pretty easy, and also surprisingly easy to make it hang like a normal bird cage. So I was like, whew, something worked. Yeah, you were a little whiner. Yeah. Well, that's all. So, thanks for joining me and us on our journey to have the pet of our dreams. So, till then, see you next time. Bye-bye.